Welcome to the Teapot Reads. I'm the Teapot. This is what I'm currently reading, and I am so happy to have you here today. Today we are doing my summer TBR and reading goals. I do these seasonally. I did one for spring, I did one for winter. Go check those out if you're curious. I would have just posted my spring wrap up last week and my spring book haul, I think 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, depending on when this video is going up. So if you want to get all caught up to date, that's kind of the best way to do it. But if you're here for the first time, hello, it's very nice to see you. These are the books that I'm really excited to read for these coming 3 months. So it's going to be June, July, and August, even though it already feels like summer is here. It's hot and humid all the time and low-key miserable, and the cicadas are just about to start coming out, which is also miserable. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm just going to jump right into it and start with the book that I am currently reading, and that book is One Last Stop by Casey McQuistion. This book comes out June 1st. I'm hoping to finish it and have a review posted on June 1st, but we will see. I will definitely be posting a review of it though, because this book is amazing and I'm going to want to talk about it. I got an early copy because I work at a bookstore. My manager knew I was excited for this book and was like, "Hey Sam, you want it?" And I was like, "Yes." And yeah, this is the second novel Casey McQuistion has written. It's their follow-up to Red, White, and Royal Blue, not connected to that book at all. I really enjoyed Red, White, and Royal Blue. I think this one is far better in pretty much every aspect of storytelling, like just the craft and everything. It is about August. She is a 23-year-old. She's in college. She's just moved to New York, just found a new apartment there, or like new to her apartment there. And as she's making her daily commute to work, she runs into this girl named Jane who is on the Q, one of the lines. I don't know if it's a real line in the New York metro system. I have no idea. I've never been to New York City. Turns out Jane is not just a hot girl that August has a serious crush on, but is actually from the 70s and is stuck on the Q train. And August is intent to help Jane discover who she is, how she got there, and how to save her. And it is so cute. It is fairly angsty, which I was not expecting, and it is written so well. It is giving me major, like, this is maybe weird, but it's giving me major Addie LaRue vibes. So yes, I plan on finishing this, like I said, hopefully before it comes out on the 1st. I have a lot of free time tomorrow, so I am hopefully going to just read this tomorrow. I haven't had a lot of time to read lately. Really lovely book. I'll talk so much more about it in the review. The next book I intend to finish in summer is Shadow of the Gods. This is an arc. I actually did already start reading it, and if you watch my reading vlogs, you've probably seen me talking about it and reading it. I did put it down to pick up Mr. Impossible, and then literally nearly as soon as I was done with Mr. Impossible, I got a copy of One Last Stop, so I just continued keeping it down. I will be picking this up as soon as I finish One Last Stop. I was really enjoying it, really want to continue it. Really want to see where it's going. It's a Norse-inspired high fantasy by John Gwynne, who is best known for the Faithful and the Fallen series, which I haven't read. This follows 3 main characters. Let me remember how to pronounce their names. Oh my god. Orca, Varg, and Elvar. So Orca is a mother and a wife, and she lives in a sort of, not quite in like the town itself, but like outside the town. She's sort of, her and her family are not outcasts, but they're not like part of the community, and things are happening in the community that involves them, including a young boy who's friends with her son going missing. Elvar is a young warrior. She's part of this battle crew that goes around like basically taking mercenary type jobs, and she is seeking to gain fame and glory. And I really like her. She reminds me a lot of the D&D character I play. And then we have, the names are very hard for me to keep straight in this one. Varg. Varg has just joined the Bloodsworn, which is another like battle crew type, but they seem to be like the best of the best. And he was a thrall, which is similar to a slave, except there seems to be some sort of magical thing going on with that as well. So he's just joined the Bloodsworn, and he's kind of just begun his training in it, and he is seeking revenge for the death of his sister. Really good book so far. Like I said, super enjoying it. I got 130 pages in. It's great. I'm already planning to buy a finished copy. I just want to actually finish reading it first. So I have been rereading Pride and Prejudice as part of some like research for a novel I plan on writing. And as soon as I finish rereading Pride and Prejudice, I read about 5 chapters a week. It's very low-key. I annotate and everything. I plan on actually picking up another Jane Austen for the first time. Like, I've only ever read Pride and Prejudice. I plan on picking up Northanger Abbey. I really want to read this. I've had people recommend this to me as the next one I should read, and it's one that I genuinely think sounds really good and really different from Pride and Prejudice. So I want to see what what she does with this pretty different sounding story. So this is a sort of coming of age satire from the way I understand it. It was actually Jane Austen's first novel to be completed, though it was published posthumously. It is about, what is her name? Catherine Morland. She is one of 10 children of a county deacon or something like that, and basically she's invited by her wealthy neighbors to go with them on a vacation where she meets a guy she kind of falls in love with, makes a new friend, and then I think the friend's brother is kind of in love with her, but she doesn't see it. Like, I think it's like love triangles kind of situation. I'm really excited for this. It's actually pretty short. This text is, like, the text itself starts like here. There's a lot of notes and introduction material that I will probably hold off on reading until after I finish reading the book itself, because I have spoiled myself far too many times by reading books that way. If you saw my spring wrap-up, you know exactly how I feel about the Bridgerton series, but I am so close to finishing it. I'm putting at least 2 more books on my summer TBR. That is book 6, When He Was Wicked. This is Francesca's story, and then this is book 7, It's in His Kiss. This is Hyacinth's story. I just want to be done with these books. I just want to be done. And I know one of my goals, like, overarching the year has been quantity over quantity. But these Bridgerton books, they just need to get done. They just need to get done. Even though they're not quality. And the final book that I have plans to finish is Temeraire, the first book in the Temeraire or His Majesty's Dragon series, or Temeraire series, I'm not 100% sure, by Naomi Novik. This is set during the Napoleonic Wars, and it has dragons. And I have the whole series now, so I may as well, like, dive in and start it. It's not going to be a very long read, but I've heard really good things, and I've liked all the other Naomi Novik books I have read, so I have high hopes. So those are the physical books that I have that I'm really excited to read, but there are a couple that aren't even released that I'm looking forward to and will probably end up getting to this season because I'm just so excited for them. Number 1 being The Queer Principles of Kit Webb. This is by Cat Sebastian. I read the Seducing the Sedgwick series by Cat Sebastian earlier this year. I really enjoyed them. They're far better Regency romances than the Bridgerton books, and also they're queer, which I quite appreciate. Kit Webb is her first release that is in more traditional paperback format, so I'm very excited. I already have a copy pre-ordered because I really want to support her. Yeah, I don't really know that much about this one other than the author I like, and the genre is one that I've really been trying to branch into, and I trust her to take me there. Then we have The Maidens, and I'm so sorry, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the author's name because I'll probably get it wrong. This is I haven't read The Silent Patient, but this is the author's second book. The Silent Patient was super big. I think I will probably end up reading it because I have heard such good things, and especially if I like The Maidens. This is like a dark academia thriller, so I'm sold. There's like Greek mythology aspects to it to some degree. There's a missing student. I'm just here for it. I saw the description. I was like, I need to read that. So yes, that very excited. Very excited. I think that comes out in June. Then we have the Nishan Smile by C.G. Merwile. Very excited for this one. I have the Fae Crate edition pre-ordered. I don't need to know much about this to just know that I'm very excited. It is a fantasy. It's supposed to be dark and adult. There's art throughout the book. It is done by someone who's a big part of the online bookish community, and I want to support them, and I am just really, really excited for this one. I will probably try to do some sort of reading vlog for it. And finally, Anyway the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell. I know Rainbow Rowell is not the most beloved of creators. She's made some odd choices. I adore the Simon Snow series. I do have some issues with it, particularly the erasure of like bisexuality that seems to go on in the first book. I hope that's addressed in book 3. I really hope that's addressed in book 3. I really do like the Simon Snow books. I like Simon. I like Baz. I like Lucy. I like Lucy? Is that one of the characters? No, that is a character, but not the one. I meant Penny. I like Penny. I just am really looking forward to this. It's going to be sad to say goodbye to this series because I only just got introduced to it with book 2. But I'm happy to be here for at least this part of the ride. I think more than anything else, I really appreciate that especially Carry On subverts so many of the classic, I don't want to call them Harry Potter tropes, but they kind of are. Harry Potter laid down a lot of tropes for the magical school system books, and Carry On I think does a really good job of actually treating it like a more realistic high school environment. But anyway, The Wind Blows, I'm excited. There will be a vlog for this, and yeah. all that stuff. This is the part of the video where I talk about my goals for the summer. These goals are like goals that kind of stretch to cover the whole year, and in that way also kind of pull from the goals for last month. I met most of my goals for last month. Some of my goals that I had set out as the month or as the season continued, I actually wasn't that interested in anymore, or just didn't consider it as like much of an important to be like, this is a goal I have. So yeah, but most of these are kind of just carried over. Number one is, as I keep saying, quality over quantity. Ignore the Bridgerton books. Otherwise, books are, I have to remember, I can DNF books. I can put books down. I can move on if I'm getting bored. It's all about quality. I want to read a lot of good books. I want to come out of this year and say, I had one of the best reading years I've ever had in story-wise. So that is one of my major goals, and it is still my major goal. I also still want to do a lot more reading outside. I did a lot at the beginning of spring when it was, you know, the snow had kind of melted and it was just warm enough to kind of sit outside, especially when we just got Tank. He's actually right over there on the bed just chilling. But it was easy and comfortable, and I actually enjoyed the time that I got to spend reading outdoors. Unfortunately, the heat and humidity has really set in. Not comfortable. I don't like warm weather as it is, and Illinois summers are pretty miserable. I'm hoping that on days when I'm off or days when I don't work until later, I can take advantage of the mornings and maybe like for half an hour at least just sit outside, maybe with a cup of tea and a book, and enjoy it before the world gets musty and hot. That's going to be one of my goals for the season. We'll see if I manage it. I am going to try to keep somewhat track of it. I'm not going to go crazy, but I do want to like keep a mental tally of some sort, at least like, oh, I've managed it like once a week. Like even if I could do it once a week, I think I'd be really pleased with myself. I also really want to read for longer periods of time or chunks of time. A lot of times when I'm reading, I kind of segment it into half an hour at a time, 20 minutes at a time, one chapter at a time, and then I get up and do something else. And this is because I'm trying to take advantage of all the time I have and pack my days as full as possible. I just don't have a lot of free time for myself. So I'm like, okay, if I can do the things I need to get done, and then I can read like in between it, and then I know I've read a little bit. And while that's great, I really miss the experience of being able to sit down for like an hour or 2 hours and just read and enjoy the book. That was something that during the pandemic, when I was quarantined and didn't have a job or anything, that was something I could really take advantage of. And while I know I'll never have that much free time again, I really enjoyed it. That's how I was able to read like the whole entire Throne of Glass series all over again, back to back to back in a month, because I just was able to completely immerse myself in these books. And especially because I do want to read more fantasy as the seasons continue. I've kind of like found myself drifting away from epic fantasy, not because I mean to, just because I don't have time to sit down with a big book. And I want to be able to sit down with these big books, immerse myself for an hour, 2 hours at a time, and just enjoy it. So that is something I'm going to really try hard to get. Like I said, tomorrow I have some free time. I'm really hoping I can just sit down and read and read and read. The most important goal I have on this list is to read more diversely. My last goal for reading more diversely was to hit about 10 to 15% of my spring wrap up being diverse, and I ended up actually getting to just about 30%, which is great. I mean, it's not great in like the scheme of things. I should be reading more diversely than that in general, but for like the first intentional attempt at this, I thought that was pretty good. I am still taking baby steps. My goal for this summer is going to be reading 25% or more diversely. I'm going to be really disappointed in myself if I read less than that, because obviously I got 30% on my first try. I could do better. The like long-term goal would be to get about 50%, 50 to like 60% diversely, even 50 to 75% diversely. I think that's a little hard just with my shelves at the moment. And you'll see more in my next goal, because my shelves at the moment are predominantly white, and that kind of sucks. Like, there's a lot of great stories here. I'm not going to say that the stories suck. It's just I don't have a diverse shelf. And until I have a diverse shelf, it's a little hard to come to that 75% rate. But I think 50% is something I could even do with the shelves that I have, and with the I mean, I am going to buy books. I'm going to continue to buy books, and I do try to consciously buy diversely, as well as, you know, just books that like maybe they're not diverse, but I really want, you know, like it's a mix. I try to keep a top of, I guess. But yeah, long-term goal, like just about 75%, maybe like we'll say like 60 to 75% is like where I would love to be this time next year. But for now, I think 25% and higher is what my goal is going to be for the month. Nothing on my list right now. I guess Casey McQuistion, I guess they count. One book on this little list so far is diverse. So, you know, working on it. And then my last goal is to actually read the books on my shelves. If you saw my spring book haul, which was massive, it was over 100 books, you know that I went a little crazy. I have no problem buying those books as long as I am, taking care of myself and the things I need to take care of. But I'm not going to read 106 books in the rest of the year. Most of these titles are just going to sit on my shelf for a long time. And I want to read the books that I have. I'm probably still going to buy a lot of books. I'm really going to try to temper myself. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult. I really want to try, and this is me stating out to the world that I want to try to read the books on my shelves. We'll see how far that gets me. Yes, we'll see. But that is my summer TBR. Those are the books I'm excited to be reading. I'm sure I will pick up books outside of these books as well. Have you read any of these books? Are you excited for me to read any of these books? Are you excited to pick up any of these books? And what are you planning to read this season? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to talk about it. I always love talking about books. I hope you are doing great. I hope you're staying warm if it is cold where you're at. I hope you're staying comfortable if it is warm where you're at. And most of all, I hope you are reading a wonderful book. I will see you next time. And if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Bye!